First, let me start off by telling you a little story about myself. About 2 years ago, I worked a shitty job in a factory, waking up at 4 AM for 2 days, and then the 2 days after on night shifts, so staying up all night. You know, my sleeping pattern was all over the place, getting up really early, and then 2 days later I was staying up all night. And I was very anxious, I was very depressed, I was very unfocused, undisciplined, couldn't stick to any good habits to improve myself. And this was no wonder because of, you know, my sleeping pattern was all over the place. I stayed in that same position for 5 years. The 5 years that I was there, I was in that same position. From the day I started to the day I finished, I stayed in that same position. And if you think that's bad, this is worse. There was a man there. He was 60 years old. He finished during the time that I was there, and he was in that same position, the same position that I was in that factory, for 44 years. Think about that. Now, the point of this story is to hopefully help you grasp what a bad routine can do for you and what it did for me. It can keep us stuck, it can keep us from progressing, keep us from having good sleep and making these improvements in our life. And this is why we need to create a routine in our life that we can stick to, that's, you know, make sure that we get good sleep, make sure that we can keep improving and keeping our mental health as high as possible. This is what partying every weekend, staying up, texting girls that don't even love you can do, ruining your routine. This is what having a bad routine can do for you. And this is what this video is about, creating a routine for you to become more productive, more focused, more disciplined, more healthy, mentally and physically. Let's begin. The first step to this video is creating a routine. Now, the idea behind creating a routine is for us to get our body in a state of waking up and going to sleep at the same time every night. So we have, you know, them 7 to 8 hours of sleep that we need, or 6 to 8 hours, whatever it may be. So we get that sleep, because sleep is the foundation of everything that we're going to be doing here in our lives on this time on earth. We can't think, we can't be productive, we have no energy, we don't want to go to the gym, we skip the gym, we choose the unhealthy foods if we do not have good sleep. So first we want to, you know, take out 6 to 8 hours in our routine, and then we want to structure this routine so it's the perfect day, our perfect day, to, you know, be the most productive that we can be. And for you, that might be, you know, doing some homework, going to school, going to the gym, reading a couple of books, meditating. You know, this is just an example. And I want you now, maybe pause the video, come back later or whatever, but pause the video and create a routine right now, literally hour by hour, what you're going to do, even the time that you're going to sleep to the time you're going to wake up. This will be ingrained into us after a certain period of time. And them days where we're struggling, or we have some free time, or we think, okay, what can we do now? You know, I've got some spare time, what can I do now? Then you can look back to this routine. Okay, I said I'm going to do this at this time, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to read at this time, so I'm going to read. Now, we're not going to be hitting this 100% of the time. You know, there are going to be days where we maybe just read a book and skip the gym, or skip our meditation, or skip the hard work that we're meant to be doing. There are going to be days where we're not going to completely stick to this, but the idea is to be consistent with doing at least something a day and slowly building it up, and eventually, hopefully, we can get to that time where we're hitting like 50%, 60% of that day. Don't forget, we're going to be doing this on the weekends as well, especially the weekends. The weekends are going to be the best time for us to reproduce this routine of ours that we have created, if not make it even better, because weekends usually we don't have work, we don't have school. Obviously in some cases you will have work, you will have classes or whatever you may be doing on the weekend, but naturally on the weekends people have more time, and this is the best time that we can create, or at least like cram what we're doing in the week in the morning of that weekend, and then the rest of the day we can do even more than we're meant to do. We can even create 2 routines here, one for the week and one for the weekend, just so if you want to keep that structure on the weekend, you know, you plan on having a winter arc where you just go, you know, work fully on yourself or fully on your business, then this is going to create that structure, that routine in your life, and routine's going to be everything, because at that, when we're creating a routine, it's creating a habit, isn't it? And once we have created a habit, we don't even have to think about it. We literally just get out of bed, we brush our teeth, we go to work, we then go straight to the gym, then we eat, whatever. Like, as soon as it's a habit, it's built into us. And this is basically the point of creating a routine, is to make our perfect day and then try and reproduce that as much as possible. Like I mentioned, the weekends are going to be the best time for you to reproduce this, create this routine, reproduce this routine. This is where the most progress is going to come from, because we can spend 12 hours on this new routine, on this new business, on ourselves, when we create this routine. And if you are a consumer and not a producer, if you are living in the slow lane and not living in the fast lane, then you will think weekends are for play and the week is for work. But this is all wrong. If you want to become, you know, successful, I'm not successful, but I own a business, and every day, 7 days a week is work. There's always has to be work done. There always will be work that needs to be done. And if you can't see the weekends as time to work, time to get better, time to improve, if you see it as time to be lazy, if time to eat food, time to go drinking, then you're probably not going to end up self-employed or you know, with a nice body, or all these different nice things that you want, that you've got this image in your head of you want to be like someone. Then you need to start seeing the weekends as something to use, a tool to use to get ahead of everyone else that's maybe around you. Like I said, I am not successful. I am not fucking, as you can see from my channel, I'm not a successful person. But, you know, the way you are going to make more money, the way you are going to have more time to meditate, to do these better habits, the little things that you could do every single day that are going to improve you, then the weekends are the best times to take action, just because naturally we have the most free time during these 2 days a week. And eventually, you know, we all hope to be working maybe 3 days and have 4 days off, or whatever it may be. Now we need to take in mind, when we're creating this routine, that we need to think, are we night owls or are we early risers? And for me, I'm an early riser. I like being up early in the morning. This is where I think the best. This is where I do my most work. This is where I'm the most undistracted. And the reason I say that, like, night owl or early morning risers, is because generally most people will be asleep. Your phone will be silent. You know, your mum's not nagging you to do chores. Where at the night everyone's going to be sleeping. things are going to be quieter, there's going to be less distractions, and this is just going to help us get to our goal faster. It's undistracted, we can concentrate more, there's less noise from the external world. Our phones aren't ringing, the phone's not ringing, your mum's not nagging. The world is just a lot more quieter around 1 a.m. in the morning till 6 a.m. in the morning. Like, these are the windows that we're going to be wanting to work in, because this is probably the quietest time that we're going to have during our days. This is just going to add another benefit to creating a distraction-free environment. Step 2 of this video is get up. Now, there's 2 parts to this step. The first part is we want to move our alarm, so we have to physically get up. During this time of year, autumn, winter, it's cold, it's lovely and warm inside your bed, that snooze button, that sleep button is going to get hit on the alarm, and by us moving it further away, we have to actually get up and move our body. And at this point, when we've hit that snooze button, it's like, okay, we're not going to get back in bed. If you do, you seriously have a fucking problem and you need to sort that out, because that's just pure laziness. You need to, once you're up, then you're just up. There's no point going back to bed. You may as well get up at that point. You may as well, get dressed, get ready for your day. The second part of this step is the 5-second rule. Now, the 5-second rule, I'll link a video in the description. It's by Mel Robbins. And basically, the whole concept of this 5-second rule is, after 5 seconds of doing anything, our monkey brain kicks in. The impulsive brain that says, don't walk up to that girl, don't have a day off the gym, don't eat healthy, have a wank, watch porn. After then 5 seconds, our brain kicks in. So once that alarm goes off, we just have to get up within 5 seconds, count to 5, or literally just jump up and get out of bed. This doesn't allow time for our brain to make excuses. We are never going to want to do the hard things that are going to benefit us, because it takes discipline, it takes accountability. But this is what, at the beginning, this is what that 5-second rule teaches us, is if we just do it, if we just get the work done, eventually this routine will be built into us. If we just go out and do it, if we don't think about it, if we don't make excuses, and we just do the work, then we're going to get to where we want to go. People are going to be surprised and going to be motivated by you. You're going to create motivation in yourself by doing the hard work, doing the things that don't want to be done. Eventually, this 5-second rule won't even be a thing. You will literally just go out and do said thing that you want to achieve, said habit that you want to adapt and add into your life. The beginning is always the hardest part of the process of anything that we're going to be doing, any habit, any routine that we're going to want to add into our life. The beginning will always be the hardest, because we have to consciously think about doing this habit, about consciously, okay, I've got to floss my teeth after brushing my teeth, okay, and each morning you just brush your teeth, but you have to consciously think about flossing your teeth, because it's not built into your system. And sometimes there are days where our minds are just going, we're thinking about other stuff, there's stuff on our mind, but what if the floss is right in front of us and we can just pick it up then? And eventually, over time, we won't even have to think about it, and we'll be thinking about these other things and picking up the floss at the same time, doing our teeth, and then thinking about these other things that are going on in our life. It'll just be a part of us. It'll become our personality to work on the weekends, to get up at 6 a.m, to go to work, to sit there for 4 hours and do some work. Like, it will be part of us, it will be part of our personality, and it'll motivate us, it will motivate other people. And at this point, it isn't discipline. The only thing stopping you at this point, once you've developed this habit of creating this routine, of adapting to this routine, building it into your system, once this has been developed, the only things that are stopping us are obstacles, lessons to be learned, self-beliefs to get let go of, and ideas put into motion. Step 3 to this video is fasting. Back in hunter-gatherer times, we'd have one meal maybe in a day or in a week, and the rest of this time we would be fasted. So we would be sharp, we'd be alert, we'd be ready to strike and kill. And after this feast is over, after we've captured the animal, we would rest, we would celebrate. Our day was over with then, and this cycle would repeat. But the modern day does not consist of this, especially now that breakfast is a thing. Breakfast is probably the worst meal to ever be, a thing, ever be invented, ever come into the modern day. For the sole reason of it's telling our body, our mind, that we've conquered the day, we've slain that animal, we've won the day, we don't need to do anything, we can rest, we're safe, technically. And once our body knows this, it can wind down, slow down, our thoughts aren't as good, and all these different things can affect it because of our body processing this food. We're not as present, we're not as fast, we're not thinking as fast. And for the longest time, this was me. I was eating breakfast. I wouldn't even say it was breakfast, it was breakfast before even breakfast. I was eating it as soon as I got up from waking from my sleep. Well, to be honest with you, I was getting hardly any sleep, so I'd sleep as late as possible, eat straight away, because I couldn't function. I couldn't function when I didn't have any food. This is what I thought, this is what I told myself. So I'd get up from 6 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep, head to the shop up the road, or eat some crumpets and cereal that I've got in my house, and then I'd head straight to school, head straight for the bus stop where we'd wait to go to school. We'd wait at a bus stop to get on a bus and then go to school. And it was no wonder that I couldn't focus. I was always that student that couldn't focus on anything that the teacher was saying. My mind was always wandering, I was drifting, I was daydreaming, and I would have to ask you for help or copy your work, or what she just said, the teachers just said. I was that student. I couldn't focus on anything because obviously along the lines of other things with sleep and ADD, but I think this really played a massive role into my ability to think and my ability to do things, my energy levels, just because of my gut was processing this shit, these shit carbs, the sugar, the sweets that I was getting from the shops, the sugary drinks. My body was consuming all this, processing it, trying to process it, and it was taking away my energy. Obviously, the digestion system is a massive system in our bodies, and probably one of the biggest systems in our body that our body goes through, because it's taking all our resources to move the food throughout our body and digest it and send it to different parts of our bodies. So this is a big system. It's no wonder that I had no energy to think, or my mind was wandering. And our brains, our guts send more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the gut. So when we eat healthy food, when we eat sugary foods, the shit foods, then obviously our minds are gonna produce. Fucking hell. See, I've been eating shit food. Our minds are gonna be eating. Fucking hell, man. I'm struggling right now. Our minds are going to be better when we're eating obviously the healthier foods compared to the shit foods, the sugary foods. Our minds are going to be working a lot better, a lot more consistent. We're going to be more present. So by knowing all of this information, we can use fasting, or at least intermittent fasting, as a tool. so we can produce better work, so we can be more present, so we can learn more, so we can store the information better and overall produce better work, making our companies better, our businesses better, the work that we do better, so we can work out more efficiently, we can focus more on our mind-muscle connection, resulting further growth in our muscles. And the way we can do this is we can set our routine so we can do the hardest things, maybe like the 2 hardest things, the 3 hardest things, just before we eat. So our first meal in the day is, say, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and previously before this, we've sat down, we've read a book, we've wrote 5 pages on whatever it may be that we need to write a page on, research on. Our hardest work needs to come before the time that we eat, so we are more present, so we're more focused, our mind isn't wandering. And for me, in my situation, my routine, I eat at 11:30 every single day. 11:30 a.m. every single day. At this point, I've sat down, I've meditated, I've read, I've journaled, I've wrote like a couple of thousand words on my computer to do with like these videos, the research that I do. I've been to the gym at this point. And then finally, when I get home from the gym, that is when I first eat. And usually this roughly is about 11 to 12 o'clock. Once I started using fasting or intermittent fasting, I used both. My productivity really skyrocketed, paired with, being undistracted, getting up early, creating this routine. When I was fasting, my productivity on what I would do in my day, the amount that I could focus, my mind wasn't wandering, I was deep into work, I was in that flow state. I could really get some work out, really get my mind and my cogs working. This is a completely different person to who I used to be. Like I said, I was distracted, I was unfocused, my mind was wandering, I was asking you for help. All these different sorts of things of how I was, the way I was eating, to now where this is literally my routine. This is literally taken from my routine. These steps in this video is taken from my routine to help you hopefully get to where you want to go, because I think this will be the foundation of growing my channel, of becoming more successful in the YouTube game, or whatever you want to say, getting more subscribers, more views, more likes. I think this will be the foundation. This video that I'm creating right now is I think going to be the foundation of where my channel starts to blow up, because I'll be more consistent. The knowledge that I get out, the research that I'm doing, the amount that I'm focused, it all comes down to being consistent with it, and that comes from this creating this routine, being focused and fasting. Step 4 is take action. Now I want you to listen to me very carefully. You have the routine, and you know that this is going to be uncomfortable. You know that this is going to be hard. You're going to have months, weeks, days where you're not going to want to do the hard work. You're not going to want to get up dead early in the morning. But for this to make a change in your life, you must make a change right now. After this video, you must create this routine and implement it within tomorrow. And I say that, and I say that you must do it straight after this video, because remember what I said earlier, within them 5 seconds your brain will start telling you excuses. No, don't do it, wait till next week, wait till next Monday, wait till next month. Then that'll turn into wait till next year. We must act right now, otherwise we're going to be stuck in the same position. Do you want to be stuck in that same position that you are now? A year goes by and you're exactly where you are right now? Or do you want to know that you put in hard work to be where you want to be? To know that you stayed disciplined, motivated, focused, consistent. I want you to be free of a wandering mind, free of a job that you hate, a body that you don't love. Do not let anyone deter you from your goal and your purpose. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your girlfriend that you're going to switch up your routine by tomorrow, so they're aware of what's happening in your life, so they can not distract you, so they're aware of it. This will be the most fulfilling thing that you do, to put ourselves through hard times purposely to grow financially, physically, mentally. Remember, this will be a step closer to your purpose. Love you, boys.